Welcome to this explainer. Listen, if you've been bombarded by those targeted ads promising you 10 grand a month in passive income using some shiny new AI tool, yeah, it's time to hit the reset button. Today, we're stripping away all that fluff to reveal the gritty, incredibly lucrative reality of the AI automation side hustle. We're going to dive into a framework that proves the real money in AI right now. It isn't sexy at all. It's actually kind of boring. Okay, let's jump straight into this clear 5-part blueprint that's designed to take you from absolute zero to your first paying client in literally just a weekend. We'll be covering the boring truth, the math behind the money, the $20 stack, why maintenance is the product, and finally, your first 48 hours. Starting off with Section 1, the boring truth, where we prioritize a reality check over guru fantasies. We really need to kick things off by completely resetting your expectations about what making money with AI actually looks like in 2026. Look at the contrast here. On one side, we have the typical guru fantasy, right? Sexy software, passive income while you sleep, zero effort. I mean, it sounds amazing. But on the other side is the boring truth. Digital plumbing. You're fixing administrative pipelines and yes, sometimes taking a frantic 3 a.m. phone call when things break. You aren't selling some get-rich-quick dream, and you're definitely not doing complicated computer science. What you're actually selling is the disappearance of repetitive, mind-numbing admin work. And here's why that matters. Right now, something like 39% of Americans have a side hustle, but most of them are grinding it out for maybe $12 an hour on delivery apps or taking online surveys. Now contrast that with the staggering potential of automation. Our source material highlights this great real-world example. Just connecting a simple contact form to a spreadsheet and adding an automated email reminder saved a local gym owner 6 hours every single week. It took 3 hours to build, and it paid a $400 monthly retainer. Do the math on that, and it breaks down to a remarkable $133 an hour. Connecting simple forms yields a significantly higher hourly return than driving around all weekend delivering takeout. So, how exactly do you command those kinds of rates? Well, that brings us to Section 2, the math behind the money, and how to justify that price tag. Let's break down the exact economics of why local businesses will happily hand you their money. Look at this massive number, $15,600. This is the exact math that most beginners completely miss. If you save a business owner just 6 hours a week, well, that's 312 hours a year. At a super conservative $50 an hour for a business owner's time, you are literally recovering over $15,000 of labor value for them annually. When you frame it like that to a client, your setup fee suddenly looks like an absolute steal. Which brings us directly to the exactly what you should be charging. The services scale up really nicely. A single automation setup usually ranges from $200 to $700. Moving up, a full workflow build jumps to anywhere from $750 to $3,000. And then there's the holy grail, the monthly retainer for monitoring and maintenance, which brings in $400 to $1,500 a month, recurring. Remember, you aren't just selling software connections, you're selling time back to the business owner. Now, you're probably wondering what kind of ridiculously expensive software you need to run all this, right? That takes us to Section 3, the $20 stock, keep it simple and cheap. You really don't need a massive software budget to get this off the ground. In fact, for $20 a month, which is honestly less than a week's worth of coffee, you have literally everything you need. First up is Make on their free tier. It's a visual workflow builder that's way more flexible than Zapier, and their free plan handles up to 1,000 operations a month. That's plenty for your first 2 or 3 clients. Second, ChatGPT Plus for $20 a month. This acts as your absolute best co-pilot for troubleshooting broken workflows and mapping out processes. And finally, Airtable or Google Sheets, completely free, serving as your database layer. That's the whole shebang. You can run your first automations without burning cash on useless SEO suites that some random YouTuber told you to buy. But hey, what happens when things inevitably go wrong? Let's get into Section 4. Maintenance is the product, and the real value you're providing. Let's look at a real-world example from our source that perfectly captures what you are actually getting paid to do. Check out this massive mistake. 47 text messages sent to a single lead in just 4 hours. Yeah, the author of our source built a really simple SMS alert for a real estate agent. It took about 90 minutes to build, they tested it, and it went live. But they forgot one incredibly crucial detail, a missing only run once filter. It turned into a total late-night disaster, requiring the author to take an angry 10 p.m. phone call and scramble to implement a midnight fix. Now, you might think a disaster like that would totally ruin the client relationship, right? But despite all the chaos, the reaction was surprisingly different. That real estate agent happily paid the full $300 setup fee and immediately signed a $400 monthly retainer for, quote, making sure that never happens again. This brilliantly illustrates the core concept of this whole hustle. Businesses pay for reliability and a good night's sleep, not just the initial build. Look, anyone can build an automation, but very few people will actually answer the phone when it breaks at 10 p.m. And that leads us to a fundamental shift in how you should view your role. You need to think of yourself as a digital plumber. You're a technician who builds and maintains the unseen pipelines of a business. Look, the automation will eventually break. It's a liability. But a broken workflow with a 2-hour response guarantee is exactly what warrants that monthly retainer. You build the pipes, the water flows, and the business owner gets to sleep better. That is the entire job. So how do you actually get started with this today? Let's wrap up with Section 5, the first 48 hours, from zero to paid client. We've got a strict execution timeline here to get you your very first client. Saturday morning, pick one painful admin process that makes owners groan, something like lead follow-ups or invoice generation. Saturday afternoon, go build it and make for free, test it, break it, fix it, and then record a quick 60-second Loom video showing it working. Sunday evening, find 3 local prospects with that exact pain point and email them the video with a super simple 3-sentence message. Monday at 9 a.m., follow up. If you strictly stick to this step-by-step weekend timeline, prioritizing building the solution before you ever try pitching it, you can literally secure a paying client by Wednesday. And if you're sitting there wondering how to actually find those prospects, it honestly couldn't be easier. To execute this, your prospecting checklist is as simple as opening up Google Maps. Just search for local services, like a gym, a dentist, or a realtor right in your neighborhood. Check out their website. Find a contact form. And finally, verify there is no auto-response. If they have a form but no instant reply, boom, you found a business with a broken communication pipeline. You don't need a fancy portfolio. That Loom video you just recorded, that is your portfolio. Which brings us to our final thought and a critical question for you to consider. Will you be the one to fix the boring problems no one else wants to touch? The reality here is that the real money is hiding in the mundane, everyday pipes of local business. So stop reading about passive income fantasies. Go build those pipelines, offer that peace of mind, and turn those boring problems into your most reliable income stream. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this gives you exactly what you need to get out there and start building.